Good morning, and welcome back. I know this isn't the usual start to my philosophy videos. While on my honeymoon, I had a few technical difficulties with my camera, and I lost the intro and the first question to this philosophy set. So, instead, let me show you a quick run-through of the maker/hacker space that the Airborne server uses, and we'll get into the questions. Thanks for watching. Now, and don't forget, secret link at the end. See y'all later. So far, the only thing we can't regrow or re-replicate is the mind.
Okay.
What happens when we can?
Ooh. So this kind of goes back to this whole, like, what is a person thing.
Yeah, it goes back to the what is a person thing, but kind of, but also not really. Because if you can replicate the mind, that doesn't mean the original is gone.
Yes, that's, it's the transporter malfunction.
Kind
where
of.
now you have an exact duplicate of something.
But I also know in the Halo universe, they use either dying human brains or Flash cloned human brains to make artificial intelligence.
Oh, okay. Is that how they do it?
And
I haven't got that far in the game, so.
It's not really explained very well in the game. It's more through other lore sources.
I see.
But
subliminal material.
Yeah, I'm a ridiculous nerd on certain things.
That's okay.
So, but back to the question. What do you think would happen to society? Would you be, if you were intelligent enough and considered a genius, like a Mensa level genius, would you be able to sell that replicated organ? Would you be able to sell your original brain and substitute in the hopefully exact or slightly better replacement?
So the idea of upgrading the gray matter, so to speak.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be issues somewhere that you could tweak or whatever.
Yeah, a little interest. It's an intriguing concept. Like, augmenting knowledge is very intriguing to me, like artificially augmenting knowledge, but like whole-scale reproduction of a brain or of a mind, I guess would be a better word for that. Whole-scale reproduction. I don't know. That's a strange and terrible idea, I think.
It's scary, but the reason I ask a lot of these philosophical questions that have nothing to do with current reality is because if you don't start talking about these 30, 40, 50, 60 years before it becomes a thing...
Yeah, well, that's why we have science fiction.
Then you're way too late.
Yeah. That's why we have science fiction to ask these sorts of questions in a popular format.
Well, a lot of science fiction asks questions that are relevant to today in... Well, I mean, that's...
Yeah.
The first season of Star Trek, that's what it was. It was asking...
let's take the socio-political issues of today and let's project them into a future where they don't matter anymore and see what happens. Yeah. This is an interesting one. Just because it's very like... I'm trying to think of the...
It's kind of like a soft cyberpunk, almost.
Yeah. I mean, it is cyberpunky. It's very much cyberpunky. But I'm trying to think of what the logical extreme would be and then work my way backwards. So, like, what would the logical extreme be? Would it be, like, cloning, say, that era's equivalent of Oppenheimer, you know, or of
your Einsteins, your great
your
writers.
Braun.
Yes,
I'm thinking specifically in terms of like security through obscurity, obscure knowledge, esoteric knowledge. So you have like your Oppenheimers, and who, you know, he was instrumental in creating the atomic bomb. Of course, Einstein, you know, laid the foundation for that and later regretted it, of course. But
well, I mean, once you open Pandora's box,
once you see what happens with it, it's like it's hard to regret. It's hard not to regret making that. But you have like somebody like an Oppenheimer who has this very esoteric knowledge on how to construct this awesome weapon. You have a von Braun who has this very esoteric knowledge on how to construct this awesome delivery system. You know, what would happen if you were in a situation, i.e. the Cold War back then, but projected into this theoretical future of an arms race that is based on technology that is deliberately esoteric, that is deliberately kept under wraps, so that, you know, you don't have a you keep a knowledge gap, you keep a imbalance of power.
Well, I mean, that goes right to George Orwell.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have the party.
A couple of these things really got.
Yeah, the party has the knowledge of the truth, you know, with a capital T, and fact. But yeah, the party has the esoteric knowledge, and the proles do not. And, you know, that's how they keep their power, is through the control of that knowledge and that capital T truth. So yeah, it's interesting, the repercussions you could see there as just a way to strike or to maintain a power structure. It's hard for me to see any other benefits to that. Not that I'm not optimistic about it, but I don't see any very altruistic means to it. So I'm thinking this is all very bad connotation going on.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that can go poorly, but I mean, what if you're 25 and
so the Terry Schiavo question.
Yeah.
If you aren't familiar with Terry, she was a woman back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s,
late 90s, I think it was.
Yeah, maybe even the 90s.
Somewhere in there.
It was, yeah, like she had some problem that caused she was in a persistent vegetative state, and there was this big this big court battle over her, you know, the right to die, essentially, because she was persistently vegetative. She did not respond to any stimuli whatsoever. But of course there was, you know, back and forth on whether she actually did. But yeah, that's a good question. That's a good altruistic sort of
and
idea.
I mean,
you know, could you replicate her original, you know, before damaged brain?
Yeah, like 2 weeks before the issue or whatever. Yeah. Like you would back it up somehow.
Yeah.
I don't
know
how you would get to that point.
You would be in that situation, you know, just like computers. You have to have a backup schedule, and you have to do this, and you have to make sure that, you know, your backup is good. You know, it's like, so like you lose some memories there, like from the 2 weeks there that you.
Yeah, but I mean, with social media and everything, though, you would be pretty current.
And then you get this whole like 50 first dates idea.
Yeah.
Like where it's like you wake up and you don't remember what happened, and it's like all of a sudden you're, you know, the last thing you remember, you're like 13 years old. You wake up and you're like 30. You know. Yeah,
if that was the last time you ever backed up.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got all like like Kimmy Schmidt meets 50 First Dates meets some kind of weird dystopian.
That could be a movie.
That could be a movie. That would be
like, this guy was 13, but you know that when he backed himself up, he was poor. He never did it because he went on to be a multi-billionaire.
Yeah. And then he loses the past 15 years worth of information or memories or whatever, and now he's got to adjust to life as
and he slowly pieces it together, and that would be
what was that, Memento?
Yeah. Oh, that was a weird.
Oh yeah.
But there you go.
Yeah.
but that would also set up. That almost kind of goes back to, what if you live forever?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all this kind of stuff just kind of ties in together, really. It just kind of falls. Everything is built upon everything else. Every concept is built upon another concept.
Well, it's almost like, Euclidean geometry.
It really is.
You start with 1, and then you go to 2, and then you go to 3, and everything past 5, you just reference the first 5.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys watch Extra History or Extra Credits, me and my wife do all the time. It's awesome. They just did this thing on non-Euclidean geometry, and the way Euclid puts out, and it's all basic geometry and basic algebra, the basis of all of it. There's 5 postulates. They all kind of lean on each other as a basis for information, and that's kind of what you have to do with these thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, now we live in a non-Euclidean world, but for most things,
it still holds.
Pretty relevant.
It still holds up. Yeah.
I mean, that's how we build buildings.
Yeah.
And until you get to weird things or very complex or very precise things.
Hooray, Newton.
It's good enough.
Yeah.
But that was a tangent. But I mean, there are a lot of applications that are very good for being able to back up your mind, to be able to replicate your mind, and that does take a lot of fear out of the world.
It could,
because if you're at least wealthy enough to do that, and that will make that you could see that making a huge
there's definitely going to be an income gap there. There's a wealth gap there.
Well, I think with the whole post-humanism and transhumanism, there's going to be a huge gap too. I had a huge long talk with somebody about that.
Oh yeah.
And this is kind of feeds right into that, transhumanism, posthumanism.
I mean, this
movement.
is all like super cyberpunk. I mean, we're just like we're rolling down the Gibson Road here.
Oh yeah. But I'm also trying to take all those big, heavy, crazy concepts and
bring them down. Absolutely.
Without diluting the language too much.
Well done, sir.
But what do you guys think? Would that change things? Would that make things better? Would that make things worse? Would there just be a weird spin to the whole? Because I can't think like Ray Bradbury.
I just want my cyber deck and my data port, and I want to be able to jack in the Matrix.
No, just give me a save point every now and then,
steal a
so I
bunch
can
of
do
credit.
something stupid.
I'm gonna be a runner. I'm gonna be a shadow runner and steal a whole bunch of cred.
Oh boy.
We're gonna be circumventing ICs.
Oh, cyberpunk worlds.
Yes.
So guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And I know a lot of these questions I had this week were more on the esoteric side, and kind of went off on some weird, kind of deep tangents.
You gotta pick up your feet a little bit.
But I mean, we've been doing this for 6 months now. It's time to really get into some strange philosophical quandaries and thoughts. And
hey, if it's not worth diving deep, it's not worth diving.
No, if you're gonna do it, do it.
That's right.
So, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And remember, I release content to the best of my ability every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you like this guy on here, Matt the Airborne Surfer.
Yeah, if you like engineering, if you like hacking things, making things, tearing stuff apart and putting it back together in new and interesting ways, check out my channel. There's going to be a link somewhere in
descriptions or a clicky thingy.
Yeah, so wherever that happens to be, check it out. The uploads are weird just because it's very technically oriented and it takes a long time to build things. So, but yeah, just you'll enjoy it.
Especially if you like weird, cool stuff. I'll take some pictures or like a quick run through with the shop too.
Yeah, sure. Welcome to my shop. Let me shape your crown. Da, 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 da. Daintily, daintily.
Oh, it was a great show.
Oh yes.
So, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.